the Apple Vision Pro, it's finally here. And a lot of people have been getting them. Everybody's talking about how amazing it is. And this $3,500 larger than life apparatus that fits on your face is here. But it brings along with it a lot of hate. And it's on both sides. And this is going to be a discussion topic. I'm buying an Apple Vision Pro. I actually tried to buy it yesterday. And I ordered it through the Apple Store. And then I got there and I showed up and said there was a problem with my payment. So I wasn't able to pick it up. Now, this is not like a lack of funds issue. It said that it charged me the $4,000 and like however many dollars it was. My payment on my card was saying that it was paid. But then when I got there on their end, it wasn't showing up as paid. It was showing as that there was a payment issue. And then when I tried to update it, it gave me no option to update it. So I couldn't even use like a different card. I couldn't use a different payment method. So there was something fundamentally broken with the purchase in the system. So I had to cancel it. And I'm waiting for the funds to go back to my checking account so that I can try and buy it again on like Tuesday. Anyway, so I will make content on it. I'm curious about it. But there's been a lot of people who are very judgmental about this device. And it's on both sides. And I did my weekly podcast with Jason Lewis, Painfully Honest Tech. We have the Painfully Honest Tech podcast. And we had a lot of discussion about it because there are certain aspects of it that we did kind of find underwhelming compared to what it looked like at launch. Because it looked like they were using a desktop and like multiple desktop windows inside of it. And then we find out you can only use one desktop window currently. I'm sure that will get more support later. But it's like you can't use your MacBook and then have 3 different display monitor windows inside of there. But you can have like Apple TV pulled up on one. You can have your photos pulled up. You can have multiple windows. You just can't have multiple desktop windows. So that was something that I was kind of frustrated about. We didn't know this when they announced it, but I kind of expected, all right, this thing's $3,500. How much storage will it have, right? Well, then we find out the details once the pre-orders go available, and the introductory model is 256 gigabytes of storage. You can't add extra storage to this, just like you can't a regular MacBook, but at $3,500 and the cost of actual storage that goes in these things is basically like $1 for Apple. It costs them like $1 to have 512 or 1 terabyte instead of 256, but the base model is 256. I'm like, how are you going to have, basically, it's a $4,000 device after taxes, at least here in Texas, and you can only have 256 gigabytes starting storage. That's just ridiculous to me. There are a lot of fair criticisms about it. I mean, there's a lot of apps that are still in beta. Some things are not ready yet. So it feels like, as it's shown up, like maybe it's not 100% what we would like it to be. And I had reservations. I'd heard that it was heavy. I estimated that it would be heavy beforehand, but then I saw MKBHD video and he's like, man, this thing's really heavy. And I have voiced concerns about that because if you're new to my channel, I don't go around talking about medical stuff in my videos, but I have 4 severely herniated discs in my neck from an injury when I was in the military and I got dropped on my head inside of a Humvee rollover simulator. So, I mean, I can't wear a lot of heavy apparatus things on my face. I can't use a Quest for very long. I can't use certain things for a long time. It starts causing me headaches and neck pain and things like that. So I had reservations about buying one in the first place, but I'm really interested in it. I'm a giant tech nerd. I kind of want to try it out. And I got to take a look at it while I was at the Apple store. I'm like, man, this thing is pretty cool. We'll see how much I can actually use it. Of course, my kids are going to enjoy using it and all that stuff. They love all these VR things. But there's been a lot of people who are very upset about it. And they're like, oh, you're so stupid for paying $4,000 to buy this thing. You're wasting money. It's dumb. It's just an entertainment device. And then you've got people who bought it who are saying, why are you hating on this? You haven't even tried it out. And this is a very polarizing topic because, of course, it's Apple. Like anytime a new Apple product comes out, there's always a lot of pooflinging, for lack of better terminology. There's people who don't like Apple. Like, I don't really like Apple. I don't like how they do business. I don't like they charge a lot of money for stuff. But undeniably, they have made some huge advancements when it comes to silicon, ARM chips, things that they're doing with that. The M1 chip, revolutionary. The iPhone, revolutionary. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they've done that you look at it and go, wow, this has really changed our day-to-day lives. And I understand, okay, $4,000, very expensive, but if you look back at technology, things have to be expensive before they get cheaper. When Blu-rays first came out, they were like 30, 40 bucks. Whenever flat screen TVs came out, they were insanely expensive. I remember going to Best Buy. I used to go look at them all the time because I was obsessed. I wanted a flat panel TV. But back when I got my first flat panel TV in 2004, I got a plasma. It was a Zenith 42-inch plasma. It was only 480p. Like, it wasn't, 720 wasn't even really a thing yet in the plasma world. And it was a $3,000 TV. That TV was 10 grand like a year or two prior. And we've seen other things like the TCL TV. They've got a 98-inch TV you can get for $19.99 now. That sucker was several $1,000s before. So they had open box ones for a couple $100s less than that. You can walk into Best Buy now and you can get like a 60-inch 4K LED TV for less than $400. So the early adoption price is always high. Plus the Apple tax compounded on that is going to be really high. And I don't ever really think these things are going to be less than about $2 grand. The display technology is expensive. It has an M2 chip in it. Like, it's very, very powerful. It's basically like a MacBook Pro with all that extra stuff on your face. So this technology from Apple, you're never going to get one for $500, $700 like you can with like a Meta Quest 3. And that's okay. But when you look at something like that, you're going to have, there's people from all walks of life. Some people don't make $4,000 a month. And that's not to put anybody down for their economic status or what they do for a living, but I remember when I first joined the military, I was making like $20,000 a year. And this was back in 2001, 2002. When I got out of basic training, I went home, my first paycheck was like $680. So to think about buying something like an entertainment spatial computing apparatus that cost $4 grand, to me back then, I'd be like, you're smoking rocks. Like, who's going to pay for that? But then you have people who have multiple Rolex watches and drive around a Rolls Royce. I mean, if you look at socioeconomic status and how much money people have, that one makes you look at things a little bit differently. But then two, it really is like a niche luxury device. It's not a necessity. It's not a phone. It's not something that you're going to like use 10 hours a day. I'm sure some people will, but yeah, there's different ways to look at this in different walks of life. So I don't say that somebody who buys it is stupid. And we know that Apple is pretty good about maturing and developing their hardware. If you take a look at a lot of novel first-time tech, a lot of people are very wary about first-generation products because you don't know if it'll stick, you don't know if it'll be supported. But Apple is basically, I think they're still a $1 trillion company. They're investing in this for the future. So we expect at some point these will get into classrooms. You'll be able to use them for all sorts of different things. The applications for it, super high. Like, you can do a lot with it. It's not like, okay, yes, I can get my Roku glasses, I can get my XR glasses, I can get my Lenovo Legion glasses. I can plug them into my computer and I can have my monitor on my glasses in front of me on like a 100, 200 inch size screen. So it's not that this isn't a good idea, but some folks might look at it and go, okay, that's not worth it. But is it's not worth it, or it's not worth it to me? I mean, I buy expensive phones. I like having like a Fold 5. I like having like S24 Ultra. I like having expensive phones. I like flagship stuff. But some folks hold on to their phones for 6 or 7 years, and there are people that I know that are trading in S8s and S9s to get like an S24 series phone. So there's a lot of variables to take into consideration. But the main underlying thing is quit being a dick to people. Now, I know this is not applying to most of my audience. Pretty much the folks I have in my community, absolutely awesome. And I put out a community post yesterday kind of detailing some things. And I just got to say, from the bottom of my heart, you guys, such thoughtful comments, so nice. And y'all are all amazing, wonderful people. I have the best community of folks out there on the internet. So I don't think y'all are going around trolling people. But if you look on Twitter or X, I put a post out about it today saying, hey, people are really hyper defensive about this. And some folks get that way because you buy something expensive, it has value to you, and then people are crapping on it. Like, that really makes you kind of feel bad. You're like, why are you raining on my parade? Why can't you just let me be happy? And I think there's a lot of that going on both sides. There's people who are defensive because they bought it, and they're reactionary because they're like, just leave me alone and let me enjoy this. It's amazing. I'm telling you it's amazing. And then you have some guy saying, it's not amazing. It's a waste of money. You're stupid for buying it. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we went through this with the foldable phones. There were a lot of people in the get-go that were like, you're stupid if you're spending $2,000 on this. And somebody could rightfully believe that. But the core thing is here, and we ran into this with the Pixel 2. There were a lot of people hating on the Pixel 8, the Pixel 8 Pro, a lot of people hating on the Tensor G3. there's a lot of tech out there for a lot of folks at a lot of price points. People have different needs, and it's a consumer purchasing model. Like, this is consumer tech. So it's something that people buy to enjoy, people buy to use, and we really shouldn't be having these things going on both sides. Like, if you don't care about it, that doesn't mean somebody else doesn't. If you care about it, that doesn't mean somebody else has to. And I just see such an intolerance with some of this stuff whenever it comes to tech. I might voice my concerns, I might voice my criticisms, and I do. I'm very critical of a lot of things. And I think that when you have something that basically costs $4,000, you wear it on your face, it should be subject to scrutiny, especially when it's 10 times more expensive than a lot of the other models that are $200, $300, $400, $500 that do very similar things in many ways. You have to justify that cost. So whenever it shows up, I'm like, all right, this is in beta. You can only use one virtual monitor for your Mac inside of it. It's heavy. It's really expensive, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of different things you can say about it. Still, I mean, I'm going to go buy mine. I should have it hopefully in a couple of days, and I will make some content on it. I didn't really buy it to make a bunch of content. Like, I don't have a lot of Apple fans. I'm not a big Apple fan. I don't make a lot of Apple content, so I know there's not a lot of Apple folks in my community who probably care about it, but some do. But mostly I just wanted it for me. I travel a lot. It's something that I would really love to use on an airplane. It's something that, I lay in bed at night and I watch TV on my phone. It'd be really nice to watch The Sopranos on that while I'm laying in bed and not wake up my wife, instead of having all the brightness from my screen. There's a lot of applicability. And I used the Quest before. I used the Quest 2. I used the Quest 3. And it's kind of frustrating trying to walk around the house. Somebody comes in, you can't see them. My son broke my 75-inch TV in my living room with the Quest. Why? Because he left outside the virtual perimeter and he didn't see what he was doing, and he was playing like a boxing game, and he punched my TV square in the middle of the screen and cracked it all up. So there's a lot of advancements that have been made. I think it's intriguing. I think it's interesting technology. I'm a giant tech nerd, but at the end of the day, we're people. And there's enough things in the world for folks to get upset about, and there's enough things that people can be angry and judgmental of other people's decisions, but I don't think tech needs to be one of them. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you're not going to buy it, nobody's making you. And if you are buying it, don't be rude to people. I got so many times, I had a lot of comments because I was talking about it in the podcast. I made some tweets about it. And people are like, oh, you just can't afford it. If you can't afford it, then that doesn't mean you need to hate on it. It's not a matter of affording. And I could go out and buy several of them if I want to. It's not a matter of affording. It's a matter of, I have concerns because I don't know how long I can wear it. I think I'll have exaggerated wear fatigue. It might cause me to have some headaches. It is expensive. I think a lot of it really is kind of an entertainment machine at this point in time. But it's going to get better. And just like I talked about in the podcast, I talked about in other things, this technology will mature. I mean, I remember when I got my BlackBerry 10 phone, the first one that came out, and it had like Facebook. It didn't have anything, and it took them a long time to get apps. Developers will have to make a lot of apps for this. There's a lot of conversion that's going to have to go into it, learning curve. This product years later will be a lot different for what you can do, and gotten so much better at what you can do with it. So there's a lot of maturity that's going to have to happen in this platform, and that's okay. We've seen that before. Apple Watch Series 1, I wasn't really on board, or the 2, but by the time the 3 got here, and then like with the Apple Watch Ultra, these things are pretty darn crazy awesome now. So I think that maybe let's just sit back, we'll see what people talk about, we'll see how good they are, we'll see what the reviews look like, I'll make my own content on it and let you know what my thoughts and feelings are, but I just was really tired of it today. I was looking at it, I'm like, why is everybody got to be so rude to everybody? Why can't we just enjoy things? Whether you're on the I bought it and I'm an advocate side of the coin, or I'm not buying it, I don't like it side, just let people enjoy what they want. Let them enjoy the purchases, and let's not hate on people for what it is that they buy or they enjoy. Anyway, so that's it. A little bit different kind of video today, but I wanted to talk about that because it's just something I noticed over the last 2 days. I'm like, this is really unnecessary. And people are getting in their feelings, and there's a lot of going back and forth and people getting upset. So let's cut that out. Let's see how good it is. We'll see what happens with it over time. And let me know if you have any questions or things you want me to look at as I get mine in a couple of days and I can start to play with it and review it and all that good stuff. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, if you like this stuff, if you want to see Vision Pro content, let me know. Hit the like and the subscribe button to come back, little notification bell, so you get notifications when videos come out, which is pretty much every day. Today was an exception. I was going to make a surprise Vision Pro video, and then I couldn't get it. So that video will come later. And as always, thanks for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time.